If you want to make your artwork look really spooky, here's a good tip. Make it drip. OK, let's start with some spooky lettering. Here's a letter I've drawn in pencil, and I'm just going to make it look spooky by making it go all drippy and droopy. Look at this. Ugh. Just dripping off those bottom edges around the bottom of the T, and again off this cross arm of the T, all dripping off like that. And there is a spooky T. All right, let's try it with another letter. Let's try it with this E. Again, the same thing, make it go all droopy and floppy and start dripping off the bottom edge down there. Look at that, big chunks of it dripping down. And you're just looking for those bottom edges. There's another one, just all dripping. And again, this next bottom edge. And then those other lines are just wobbly lines like that. And you could even do chunks of it dripping down there, and maybe chunks of it and dollops just sliming off the edge. Look at that. And if you want to make it look even more spooky, colour it in. Colour it in pimple yellow. That looks really horrible, doesn't it? Let's see. And pimple yellow and, let's see, I know, sour milk green. How's that? On there like this. And this mix of green and yellow makes it start to look like some sort of dripping gunge or ectoplasm gunk. There it is. And if you do a whole word in exactly the same style, it looks really effective. Look at that. Green looks horrible, but the red looks even worse. It looks like dripping blood. And spooky drips work with other things. What about this? Here's a man I've drawn. Now, I've just drawn it lightly in pencil to start with, because what I'm going to do is make him go all drippy, and his head's going to start dripping. Look at that. And then his arms are going to go all droopy and drippy. His fingers are dripping off. And just again looking for the undersides of his arms, and again under his feet and under his legs, and all just bits of gunk dripping off. He looks like a bit of a zombie, doesn't he? Very spooky. And again, the underside there, bits dripping off, drippy fingers, nice long drippy fingers. I'm going to draw chunks of him coming off, maybe a finger coming off like that, a couple of drips of gunk underneath. And I think I'll give him a really droopy face, just in there like that. Just make him look really spooky, and a droopy mouth. Look at that. Wouldn't like to meet him on a dark night. And here's a good way of doing a very simple drippy ghost. Just take a pencil to start with and do a very light circle like that, and then a stick body and stick arms. Now I'm just going to hang a dripping sheet over that frame, and again just dripping off the edge of the frame there, just all falling apart, all this gunk dripping and drooping. Yeah. And there it goes over the top of the head. And just to finish it off, I think I'll do bits of gunk coming away from it like that. Just all gunge, big clumps. And finally, just this droopy face of the ghost. And when you've done it in ink like this with a felt tip pen, you can just rub out those pencil lines, and you're left with a drippy, droopy ghost. Try it yourself. Make your artwork spooky with spooky drips.
Oh, frighteningly good tip, that. Just draw loads of drippy, droopy goo on things to make them look really horrible and spooky. Works well, doesn't it?